Hyeong-seok has been making enemies left and right, but has he just made some friends as well? Let's find out in episode 5 of Lookism. How's it? I'm Evie, and welcome to After the Episode. On this channel, you'll explore unforgettable Korean dramas and anime. The epic action, wild twists, and moving moments. Let's tuck in. We meet one of handsome Hyeong-seok's classmates, a hype beast named Namsu. He simply loves the attention he gets from other students because of his expensive branded clothing. He's having a fantastic morning until Jinsung arrives wearing the same shoes as him. Jinsung is annoyed that they look like twins, but in a surprising act of maturity that disappoints his bullying friends, he decides to let it go. I'm quite proud of Jinsung for choosing not to be a jerk on this occasion. He's making progress, unlike his friends who begin to tease him for being a changed man who's being way too nice. Namsu hates Jinsung and his gang, but he's not too concerned because he's recently acquired a secret weapon that will change the game. Namsu confidently walks into the classroom, fully expecting his classmates to be enamored with his secret weapon, the new designer ring on his finger. But Jaeil steals his thunder by having designer rings on every finger. Everyone is impressed by Jaeil's wealth and style, from his limited edition rings to his luxury watch and designer shoes. Hanul tries to engage him in small talk, but he remains silent. Although he's a good-looking guy who has an eye for the best brands, Hanul is disappointed by his quiet and subdued nature. At this point, handsome Hyeong-seok walks into the class, and naturally all the attention is now on him. He's polite to everyone who talks to him, but he really lights up when he sees Ji-hoo, who nervously returns his greeting. Namsu and his friends are annoyed by how quickly handsome Hyeong-seok has become so popular. While everyone has been focused on his beauty, only Namsu and his friends have taken a closer look at the rest of his appearance. He always wears the same old shoes and ratty backpack, has no sense of style, and is obviously broke. The image standards at this school are wild, hey? It's not enough to look like a supermodel. You have to look like a supermodel who just got off a Gucci runway. That's crazy work. Jaeil overhears Namsu and his friends and is troubled. In the architecture class, Basku's friend Bomjae relays the terrible news to the rest of the Burn Knuckle gang that Basku lost a one-on-one fight with handsome Hyeong-seok and isn't coming to school. The whole gang is deeply concerned for Basku's well-being. When Bomjae receives a series of unintelligible texts from Basku's broken phone, he lets them know that Basku is all right, much to their genuine relief. I really like Basku's friends too. They're just like him. Tough on the outside, but warm and fuzzy on the inside. They ask Bomjae when Basku will return, but as he can't read the text, he improvises and tells them that since handsome Hyeong-seok hasn't told anyone about the fight, Basku said that they should all lay low and wait for him while he works on the next move. All the gang members are enthusiastic about this strategy, except one member who seems unconvinced. Elsewhere, handsome Hyeong-seok and Ji-hoo are walking together from the cafeteria when they see Deok-hwa being bullied by his vocal dance classmate, Hoo-bin. Hyeong-seok knows all too well what it feels like to be the class pariah, and recognizing himself in Deok-hwa, decides to stand between him and Hoo-bin, facing down the bully as no one did for him. A crowd of students gather to watch, and they assume that Hoo-bin will lose because the newcomer already beat Jinsung. Before anything can happen, though, a teacher arrives, and the bullies walk away. Hyeong-seok offers a helping hand to Deok-hwa, who doesn't acknowledge it and leaves without a word. Jaeil, ever the silent witness, has seen this encounter as well. Jaeil continues to observe Hyeong-seok during class, looking again at his old shoes and ratty bag. At the end of the school day, Jaeil and Hyeong-seok are the last to leave the class. Jaeil overhears Hyeong-seok on the phone with his mother, who asks whether she can come over for his birthday the next day. Hyeong-seok tells her not to since he has work. At the convenience store, ordinary Hyeong-seok updates his notebook about his transformation, noting that his voice is also different when he's in the other body, so should be careful when he's on the phone with his mother. Just then, the beautiful girl from the previous night walks in. She buys some items and makes friendly inquiries about his workout routine, and ordinary Hyeong-seok blushes that she remembers him. Back at school, handsome Hyeong-seok is having a meal with Dokwa and Ji-hoo in the cafeteria. Dokwa is suspicious of why a popular guy like him would hang out with them, and the rest of the school wonders the same. Jin-sung's bullying friends are clearly trying to provoke Jin-sung and ask if he's okay with their errand boy Ji-hoo hanging out with Hyeong-seok. Jin-sung doesn't take the bait though. Not only is his friendship with Hyeong-seok sincere, but also his refusal to bully people from that day onwards. Will you look at that? Jin-sung is all grown up and choosing to be a better person. Minjin is quite happy about it too and smiles at him with pride. Back at Hyeong-seok's table, Dokwa continues to probe Hyeong-seok about his intentions. When Hyeong-seok tells him that he wants to be friends because they are a lot alike, Dokwa is outraged at the comparison. He isn't handsome and wealthy. Hyeong-seok corrects him, saying that his family is poor too. Namsoo and his friends have been looking at Hyeong-seok from across the cafeteria, and they think he's an arrogant pauper. They plan to knock him down a peg, but our silent witness Jae-yul has been listening in on it all. After school, 4 members of the Burn Knuckle gang meet in an alley. They had initially planned on ambushing Hyeong-seok in the cafeteria, but the rest of the gang didn't show up because of Basku's order to lay low and wait for him. They don't believe that Basku said anything of the sort, and Bomche won't act so bossy when they teach Hyeong-seok a lesson. Walking alone on his way home from school, handsome Hyeong-seok is surprised to run into Jae-yul. Without a word, Jae-yul drops a bag at his feet with a sticky note saying happy birthday. Hyeong-seok is grateful for the generous gift but hesitant to accept it at first. He finally decides to take it since it would have otherwise gone to waste. Jae-yul says nothing and drives away. Hyeong-seok then notices that Jae-yul had actually left him a whole pile of bags. He marvels at the sheer volume. He's only ever received a present from his mother after all. We rejoin the 4 members of the Burn Knuckle gang in the alley who've just been beaten senseless by none other than Jae-yul. We can add impressive fighter to his list of admirable qualities, which include generosity, listening skills, and overall moral fiber. How would you describe Jae-yul? Let me know in the comments. So, ordinary Hyeong-seok is back at home joyfully opening the bags of clothes and letting his mom know on the phone that he had a great birthday with his friends. Jae-yul gave him brands he's never seen before, including those limited edition rings he wore to class. The next day at school, Namsoo and his friends go over the plan to humiliate Hyeong-seok. When he arrives and the girls swarm him as usual, they'll ask him what brand of clothes he's wearing, and he'll be completely embarrassed. When he finally arrives, though, they are dumbfounded by what he's wearing. His drip is designer from head to toe, and the girls think he looks phenomenal. The clothes were a gift from a friend, but he doesn't disclose from whom. Despite trying to seem nonchalant, Jae-yul put a great deal of thought into his gift for his new friend. He's always had Hyeong-seok's back. On the first day, Jae-yul was the one who tried to restrain Jin-sung from hurting Hyeong-seok. Then, Jae-yul single-handedly foiled an ambush from the rogue members of the Burn Knuckle gang. And now, he prevented Namsoo and his friends from humiliating Hyeong-seok. If Basku is the avenging angel ready to strike, then Jae-yul is the silent soldier lying in wait. Elsewhere, Dokwa and Hoobin are at the record label for an audition. Dokwa is a serious rapper who pens everything that happens to him in a notebook, but Hoobin mocks him as a poser and says he'd beat him up if they weren't at the audition. Meanwhile, handsome Hyeong-seok is cooking in his apartment and humming to himself. Will Dokwa finally find common ground with handsome Hyeong-seok through their love of music? We'll see in my next recap video on episode 6, so check it out. Links are in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.